Hey guys, it's your best fight friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. Fight of the century coming up. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Baby, let's get a time machine.
Tell the folks, why are you so excited about this?
Because I love Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. For me, he's the best fighter I ever saw in my lifetime. At his peak, I've never seen anybody at his best as good as Roy Jones Jr. inside of the boxing ring. Now, of course, obviously, it's way a long time since that's happened. But I'm still excited about the fight because Mike Tyson looks great on them pads. Roy Jones is going to look just as flashy on that heavy bag. They're going to get in the ring. This fight doesn't really matter. It's just a bit of fun nostalgia that will take us back to 2003 when they could have fought after Roy Jones moved up and won the heavyweight title. The only middleweight champion to ever move up to win the heavyweight title, beat John Ruiz. Could have fought Mike Tyson. That fight didn't end up happening. Also could have fought Evander Holyfield. That fight didn't end up happening. Instead, Roy tried to go back down in weight. Shockingly got knocked out. At least not in the first comeback, but the second one, I think, against Antonio Tarver. So, I think it's fun. I'm excited about it. Also, I'm just excited to know who the hell Mike Tyson's fighting since he's been teasing it for like what seems like forever now.
Yeah, well, I had kind of cooled on the whole Mike Tyson comeback thing because it had taken so long to let us know, like, who the opponent was. The story I make up is that they had like a list.
Yeah.
And
demands.
I don't know where Roy came on that list, but I don't think he was first on the list. I think that's why it's taken a little while to tell us who the opponent's going to be. Because they said right away, like, it was going to be like within a week of like one of those viral videos. So
which was a month or so ago.
Yeah, I kind of cooled on it. And then we had the Shark Week thing, and I was like,
oh, he's fighting a shark.
Okay. So.
And yet he is fighting a shark. From Pensacola, Florida, y'all, Roy Jones Jr.
Today we learn it's Roy Jones Jr. Here's why I'm not as hyped.
Yeah, you seem almost bored by the idea of it.
I'm not as hyped as Kelsey is. So I don't have the same nostalgia factor. I was not watching boxing when Roy Jones was like in his heyday. So I don't have the Roy Jones nostalgia there. What I remember most about Roy Jones is when HBO got me super hyped about...
The Joe Calzaghe fight? Yeah, because they showed only Roy hitting like a heavy bag, not actually fighting anybody.
Not fighting.
And you're like, oh, he looks amazing.
He did. He looked amazing.
They also provided clips of Roy from 10 years before that. And you're like, oh, he's going to be just like that.
And then it turned out,
that was not the case.
When that came to pass, I was like, oh. That's when I knew, like, I was like, okay, never watched HBO 24/7.
Or any of those.
Before a fight again. And actually, like, I don't now unless I'm prepping for, like, helping you with writing something. Otherwise, I watch them after the fight.
Not if you're really trying to gauge how the fight will be. You should use your brain and your own eyes, not the people trying to sell you the fight. Now, what I am kind of doing is trying to sell you the fight. I think you should look back at 1980s clips of Mike Tyson, look at 1995-ish Roy Jones Jr., and just be excited. I think it's fun. 2020 has been a wild and crazy and stupid year in a lot of ways, and this is just a fun thing that we get now that we didn't see coming and probably could have never expected.
In support of your,
be happy.
In support of that, this is an exhibition bout. The fight doesn't matter. It doesn't affect either of their records. And so, yeah, why not really get, like, into the nostalgia factor? And I do recognize that this would have been a huge fight, like, back when it could have happened.
Yeah.
And so, and to really just enjoy that, then yeah, I say go all in on that. And there's no reason not to. It's just my initial reaction was a little cool. It's because I don't have that same nostalgia. Now, I remember I was more hyped about Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson, but look at all the experience watching Tyson Fury that I have.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
Yeah, and I think it's good that Mike Tyson is not going to get in the ring with Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua or any other legitimately great heavyweight right now today because he's old, and I know that people love nostalgia.
Maybe an exhibition.
I know, but I'm saying that, like,
and
against Roy, at least with Roy being 51 and Mike Tyson being 54, there's at least a possibility that it turns out to be a pretty decent little scrap. What I think is going to happen is Roy's going to play a semi-professional basketball game that morning. He's going to fly in. He's going to wrap himself to the ring like the old days. Mike's going to try to bite that ear, but Roy's going to slip it. He's going to put both hands behind his back. He's going to jump over here, hit him over the top of the head, and score the first round knockout. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. We'll just have to see.
Here's the only thing I'm worried about. Even in an exhibition bout, this is why Roy Jones needs to show me some current footage of him like training, is I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to see the Roy Jones that showed up against Kelsey.
Or Glenn Johnson.
Or whichever fight that was.
Any of the other brutal knockouts. He has been brutally knocked out. So I do,
moving pretty slow. Even in an exhibition bout, I don't want to see.
Maybe Roy's fresh.
Yeah, Roy always like looks good.
Yeah.
You know, like Mike's like weight's gone up over the year, but Roy always looks. So I can't tell from that. That's my point. I can't tell from the signing the contract video.
All I'm saying is that once Roy dispatches the legend of Mike Tyson, then we can get what we really want: Roy Jones Jr. versus Conor McGregor.
Okay. Little side note. Don't you think it would have been bigger, like, if it would have been Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield for the comeback?
Well,
I feel like Evander, like, rose out of, like, the boxing sphere. And to prove that, like, he's, like, talked about
commercial
in an episode of Friends.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason he's taught is because everybody, like, they knew he had, like, he was a household name.
Roy he's in the generation that came a little bit after that, right? And so by the time Roy was the king of boxing, he was the biggest superstar in the world. At one point, he was Mayweather and Pacquiao, right? Well, that's during the years in boxing when they were just forced to just be on HBO pretty much. So hardly many people saw him, right? They didn't see him. So maybe you're right. Maybe people would have been more excited. The difference is that those guys already fought twice, and Evander won both of those fights.
Yeah. I just, as an exhibition bout, I wonder if it would have had a wider appeal. And, you know, I'm trying to figure out what is the point of this exhibition bout, because if it's to raise money, then I'm looking from that perspective. If it's, I don't know, because Mike Tyson wants to, well then yeah, he can do whatever he wants.
Is it
Mike Tyson?
It seems like it might just be raising money for him and Roy. I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, people can do what they want with their money.
Yeah. But I am excited to see how the promotion unfolds. I'm excited to see what the event will be.
I'm a little hurt that I wasn't involved somehow.
I'm not super familiar with boxing exhibitions. You know, like I don't really know how it is, so it'll be fun to just go through it and see how it unfolds.
Hyped.
Hey, and if you're hyped, or if you're not hyped, please like, comment, and subscribe.
I thought you were okay.